Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Staff Sergeant Sapego. I'm a recruiter from Homestead, Florida, and I'm here today to talk about how you can get in the United States Army. So, okay, by now you've done some of the research, you've seen some of the media posts, and you decided that you are interested in the United States Army. So, what is the next step? Okay, I'm glad you clicked on this video because I'm gonna explain it from start to finish how this whole processing works, okay? Let's get started. So, first things first, go on our website, goarmy.com, to check out some general information. After that, I suggest getting with your local recruiter to actually talk about your particular options. So that means your interests, what interests you in the Army, what are your goals? So it's important to talk to one of our recruiters so we can give you the information that you're particularly looking for. How do you find Army recruiter? It's simple. You can go to Google Maps, type in for local recruiting center, find out the closest one to you. We are on social media, so you can look us up on Facebook, on Instagram. It's not hard to find Army recruiter. If you guys go to high school, you see those guys at the lunch, setting up the table, sitting behind the table, try to talk to you. Those are Army recruiters. Ask them. Now, here's another thing. You talking to Army recruiters does not mean you are pretty much getting in the Army. That's not how it works. If he asks you or he or she asks you for the phone number to contact you, that does not mean you're signing up for the Army. The entire process takes anywhere 2 to 3 weeks. That's if it works fast. Now, these days actually taking a little bit longer to get in the Army. Talk to a recruiter, set up the appointment, show up in the office. So now you talk to a recruiter, you figured out that's what you want to do. Now the processing begins. First things first, you're going to find out if you qualified. You're going to ask you questions. All right, your medical background check, your criminal background check. Are you on track to graduate, or have you already graduated high school? Do you have GED? Do you have kids? So they're going to ask you a million questions because it's getting harder and harder to qualify for the Army. Height and weight, tattoo policy. We got a lot of different things. So that's the first things that we're going to figure out if you are qualified. Okay, now let's say we find out you pass all your basic pre-qualifications. We're moving forward. So one of the first things you need to do, you need to take the test called ASVAB. So a lot of you guys heard about that. If you didn't hear about that, that's the test that's gonna determine your trainability level. Meaning once you take that test, you're gonna get the score. Passing score for the Army is 32. Now, the minimum you can get is 1, the maximum you can get is 99. To pass, you need to get 32. The nation average is about 40. Now, the higher your score is, the more options you're gonna have when it comes to job selections. Now, it doesn't mean you can get every single job available in the Army, because that's another thing. We're gonna look at availability even if you qualify for the job. But step number 1, take the ASVAB test. They're doing a new test pilot program. It's the new test called PICAT. Now, the thing about the PICAT, we can register you for it right at the office. We're gonna give you website information. You can go home or any place where you feel comfortable, and as long as you get access to the internet and computer. So you log in on the website that we'll give you, you take the test at home. You got 40 hours to complete the test from start to finish. Now, once you're done with the test, because it's a test pilot program, you have to do a confirmation test, a verification test. That's when you come back, we're gonna schedule your trip to MAPS. MAPS is a military entrance processing station. That's when all the official stuff happens, like testing, physicals, and that's when you actually sign a contract. Because we as recruiters, we facilitate the process. We cannot enlist you in the Army. We just help you to get there and tell you what you need to do. But everything happens in MAPS. All right, so back to PICAT. Once you're done with the PICAT, we're gonna schedule you with the confirmation verification test that's done at MAPS. You're gonna tell us on what date you wanna go. Usually we suggest as soon as you're done with the PICAT, like the following day, to go take the verification test. So what the verification test does, they pull up random 30 to 50 questions out of that test that you took, and you have to answer them the same way. If you do, and you confirm the test, then you are test verified, you get your score, everything's good to go. Or I mean the score that you already had, it's just gonna be confirmed. They say, hey, you got a score, move forward with the process. And now if you fail the confirmation, they're just gonna give you a full ASVAB test, which is exact same thing. PICAT and ASVAB is the same thing. They just called differently, but it's the same difficulty level. It's practically the same test. So if you fail a PICAT verification, you take the full ASVAB test. Once you're done with that, we're gonna get your score, and based on your score, if you pass, we're gonna move forward. If you didn't pass, we can reschedule you for another test. So even if you failed, it's not the end of the world. You can take another test. So you're done with the test and you got a good score. So what's the next thing? Next thing would be getting you ready for a physical. because Army has to verify that you're in a good physical shape. At that point, you're going to sit down with the recruiter and you're going to ask him a million questions when it pertains to a physical. Anything with the medical, any kind of scratches you had, any condition you had, medication you've taken, everything. It's about 14 pages worth of questions that your recruiter going to go through. Once they all answered, put in the system, then they're going to schedule you with a physical date. So you're going to go back to MAPS for a full physical. Now, you're probably going to spend about anywhere from 5 to 6 hours, more or less, depending on how fast the map's moving, how many people they have. And at that point, they're going to check you up and down. You're going to do your analysis for a drug use test. You're going to do your blood test. You're going to do your vision test, your dental test. You're going to have one-on-one with the doctor, where they're going to ask you a bunch of questions, check you up, look at you physically, make sure you got your all 10 fingers and 10 toes. That's about it. It's a lengthy process. I mean, you're going to be at the MAPS for 6 hours. Physical is a necessary portion for the Army to determine if anything wrong with you and if you're suitable for service in the Army. Once you're done with the physical, the next portion would be to complete your packet. Now, what that means, we have to verify all your source documents, your birth certificate, your social security, your passport, your high school diploma, or get the letter from the high school saying you're on track to graduate. There could be a couple more documents depending on who you are and what you try to do. At that point, you have to gather all your source documents, bring it to a recruiter. Recruiter have to scan them, upload it in the system, and at that point, they're going to give you a background information packet to fill out and bring it back to them so they can build your actual file online. So you're going to sit down with them and you're just going to go straight off what you have. When building your packet, they're going to look at major things: at how long you've been here, where you lived in the past 10 years, the jobs you worked at, where you graduated from, what school you're going to, your immediate family information, which means your father, mother, sister, brother, your character references. There's a couple more. So it doesn't take too long. It takes about a couple hours at most to fill it up and to complete it. Once you're done with building your packet, at that point, you are actually ready to sit down and pull the job that you want to do. We call it pull a job. That's when you pick your actual job, the MOS that you want to do in the Army. Because the way the Army looks at it, you have to be qualified educationally. You have to take the test, right? So you get the test, you're good. We get the score. Then you have to qualify physically. You went to MAPS for physical. You passed it. The Army knows you're good to go. 3, background check. Want to make sure you don't have any felonies or your criminal background check is suitable for the Army, okay? So after that, the Army is going to say, okay, you ready to enlist? Let's see what jobs are available in the system so you can pick the one that you want to do. Once you pick the job, you usually have about 72 hours. That's how long is the lock good on that job to go back to MAPS and to sign your contract. So you pick your job before you sign a contract. You know the job you're going to get into. You will know the dates when you go for basic training. You will know the dates when you're going to go for your job training, as well as locations. All that stuff is going to be available to you before you sign a contract. So when you show up to MAPS, there's going to be no surprises, that's what Army good for. So you make a trip to MAPS, you sign a contract, you do your oath of enlistment. Technically, congratulations, at that point, you are in the Army. So how long does the whole process take? If you don't have any issues, if you good to go, you already know what you want to do, you get in the recruiting office and everything goes smooth and well, then it takes about 2 weeks at the most to get you in the Army. I mean, we can work as fast as about 1 week, but normally if you don't have any issues, it takes about 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes 3, but we shoot for averages about 2 weeks, to the point when you sit down and talk to us, to the point where you're interested, you're moving forward, and you actually sign your contract. It'll be about 2 weeks. Now, that doesn't mean you get to go to basic training within 2 weeks. That's just when you sign a contract. Now, your basic training will begin based on availability of a training seat for your training. So it depends on the job and the time of year that you're going to. Sometimes you might be shipping out to basic training within additional 2 weeks after you sign a contract, 2 to 3 weeks out. Sometimes you might wait 2-3 months. It really depends. So your whole process from start to the point when you go to basic training, it really depends on the job that you choose. Now, if you're still in a high school or you're a junior, which yes, you can enlist in the Army being a junior or being a senior in a high school. So you have to wait until you graduate to actually go for active duty. So once you're done, usually within a couple weeks after graduation, you're going to be going to basic training. And this is how you join the Army. I mean, I might sound a little bit more complicated than what it is, boring you guys with all those little details, but for some of you that are actually looking for those details, I think that's going to be a really good kind of idea of how the processing for the Army works. It's not a very complicated process, but it is a process. It's not as just you sign some kind of paper the recruiter gave you, boom, you're in the Army, shipping out. It doesn't work that way. It's actually a lengthy process. Like I said, it's not a very complicated process, but best case scenario, it takes about 2 weeks. I have some people I've been working with for 6 months trying to get them in. So it really depends on what your particular situation is, what history what background check do you have, medical issues do you have, and actually I'm gonna get into it a little bit more, talk about what can disqualify you or some of the things that we're looking for when you're processing, some of the qualification things. Well guys, thanks for watching this video. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me or to come down to see me. If you want, you can leave a comment below and I will respond to it. Also, you can subscribe to this channel below and I will upload more videos talking about the Army, how it's beneficial, everything that you guys should know about it, okay? So, thanks for watching and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.